Las Vegas, Nevada branch. Let's get into it. I want y'all to hear this video.
Stinking fucking niggers think you're gonna fucking take over the world. You guys can't even fucking handle taking care of Chicago, Baltimore, or fucking St. Louis. How the fuck are you gonna take over the world? You guys are so fucking ignorant. Why don't you go loot something? Huh? Why don't you go steal something? Shut your fucking rubber lips, you black piece of shit.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 48 through 50. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Okay, shalom, shalom. As always, I want to start these videos by giving all glory, honor, and thanks to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son for this wisdom and knowledge, that is Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, HaRakah Kodash, as well as the double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone, whom I learned this truth under, and a sincere shalom to the rest of the elders and Akim around the globe, bringing this word out within sincerity, truth, and diligence. This is the beloved big bro Malak Amwan, SOYWY Malak Amwan 2. Subscribe, watch, and subscribe to his channel. Very edifying, knowledgeable, loving brother right there. He introduced this video. He hit me to this video, and I figure I piggyback on what big bro was saying. Basically, he showed us this Edomites having their natural hatred towards Jacob, which I personally find hysterical, because Esau's a fucking clown. I really, knowing these scriptures, I don't take Esau seriously, because we now know his judgment. We now know his time is coming to an end, and he don't even. There's nothing, even him, the Lord giving this sorry excuse of a man all this wealth, privilege, and power. He don't even do it right. Where's your gold at? Where's your diamonds? Where's your chains? Where's all your wives at? This nigga don't even his kingdom is perverted into a queendom. He's a sorry excuse. But to get to these scriptures, the only thing that really makes me salty about Esau being in his position of rulership is the fact that our women, Eve, going back to the serpent in the garden, are devoted to listening and following this leprous retard. This guy don't got no salt, and you take away his little bitch ass sword that the Lord gave him as a blessing. He don't got no power. Okay? And the beloved elder GMS Hawaii, Gabar Yahawada, I'll never forget. He said he was going in on a lesson a couple months ago on Esau hates all 12 tribes, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But who he really hates is the tribe of Judah, who he referred to as niggers, the so-called blacks, because Judah is being the head tribe, being the trendsetter of the 12 tribes of Israel, is an example of who he can never be. He truly hates and despises and is jealous of the tribe of Judah. So let's go further up in Deuteronomy. The Lord put this demon, this red, and I put a little filter on this to show you this man. He's Idumea, the red demon that you see. He's not so-called white. He's actually red, and he's the red man, the devil, Satan, the deceiver that the Bible speaks of. Esau, Edom, Idumea. Okay. And us being called niggers, Negroes, niggers, whatever you want to call it, is a byword that the Lord prophesied would happen to us. Talking on the southern kingdom, the more darkly chocolate melanated tribes, as well as you got some northern kingdom who's dark too. Deuteronomy 28 verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. So once again, it's going into these scriptures. The Lord has led us into our enemy's hands. Okay, and we're a byword, a proverb. He calls us all these different types of names: black, Negro, nigger, Hispanic, Latino. But all that is made up names that Esau gave us. Okay, let's go to this. I believe it's spelled like this. Yup. Wisdom of Solomon 5 verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. And America wouldn't be shit if it wasn't so-called black people. All your inventions, all your skyscrapers, all your cities, all in your trains and your transit system. I know Moab had a help in the trains as well, but starting chiefly with Judah and on to the rest of the tribes in the Northern Kingdom, America wouldn't be shit if it weren't for so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But again, this devil, this jealous little pussy you see on here is making no account for the labors that so-called black people have created. And one thing I want to go into is the examples he made, which is just Esau's tongue falling upon himself. He mentioned how the cities of Chicago, St. Louis, and Baltimore specifically are modern day third world urban shitholes, but that all came through the hands of Esau Edom. He set it up to be that way. This is this man's tongue falling upon himself and making no account of his own wickedness. Because we just look up back in the day, let's pull a screenshot, 1919 race riots. And I could go deeper into this, but this is just for time purposes. Esau Edom set up racist laws in terms of his banking systems that segregated Chicago. Jake, so-called Judites, so-called blacks, or not Salakia, not so-called Judites, the tribe of Judah, so-called blacks, couldn't buy homes in certain areas of Chicago, which is why current day it's as segregated as it is. And Esau, when he saw our people thriving, you got nothing but massacres going back to this 1919 race riot, going on to East St. Louis, because St. Louis is in the state of Missouri. You cross the Mississippi River, and there's East St. Louis, Illinois. Esau Edom had a massacre in 1917, a year before the riots, 2 years before the riots of Chicago in 1919, where he made an excuse to basically burn and beat down our dwellings and beat the shit out of our people. Because basically, if Esau Edom, if the Lord allowed shit to be so-called equal with blacks and whites, there wouldn't be no equal. We would take over, and it would go back to, as he proclaims, the Dark Ages, where we ruled over this devil for 1,000 years. Okay, so Esau has a perpetual hatred and goes out of his way to downcast our people. Another example is the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots, where you had Southern Kingdom Judah as well as Gad having our own neighborhoods where we were in peace and we had businesses. We was doing it. And what Esau do? He came through and burned our shit to the ground, which shows a perpetual hatred. And then 100 years later, he want to act like we're just some savages, some beasts, and living in these slums that you see today. But Esau Edom created that, as well as putting the woman above the man, which was the ultimate nuclear bomb to the Israelite household. Ezekiel 35 verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, which is his blessing. Esau Edom, you so-called WHITE men, your blessing is the sword. In the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end, therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So Esau Edom, this demon you see on the screen, he lives in blood. He lives in shedding blood. But in these latter days, because Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the beginning that followeth, his blood gonna get shed too, as well as 2/3 of our people that want to follow after this leprous demon. Okay? He knows his judgment is at hand. let's continue on, because he said that our people are ignorant, and he mentioned that, like, why we don't travel. Well, we're in your hands. If we had money, if we had wealth, we would be able to travel. He wants to keep us in. He wants to keep us trapped on the plantation. And going back to slavery, we would get killed if we read the Bible. We would get killed for reading, period, but especially if we read the Bible. That's why a majority of our people are as ignorant as they are today. But great fear, pursuant to Revelation 11:11, is falling upon him because he sees the prophets rising up and awakening a remnant of our people, who we really are and who this man truly is, which is the basis of all men, the leprous demon that he really is. Hosea 4 verse 6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. And in these cities he named, Chicago, South and West Sides, the segregated parts of Chicago, Baltimore, St. Louis, was it the north side of St. Louis, as well as East St. Louis is predominantly Judite neighborhoods, West Baltimore, you know what I'm saying? All those segregated sides of these cities that are run down. And you could say that to all these cities, New York, LA, Philadelphia, the segregated shitholes where Judah dwells. That's number one, a curse that the Lord said. He said we would be cursed in the city. Let's pull that up. Deuteronomy 28 verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city. Cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. So we're cursed in these inner cities. And it also speaks on we would lie at the head of all the streets with the rage or the wrath and the fury of the Heavenly Father. So our people are street stricken in these slums, these projects, in these favelas, in these barrios, you know. But Esau Edom set that up for our people to fail. And speaking on he mentioned Chicago, Baltimore, and St. Louis. Why those are some of the premier shitholes you see today in America is because he took the father. The father is the power of the home. He specifically, systematically designed the fathers to be taken out of the Judite home, the so-called blacks' homes, and let the women rule, which was a complete nuclear bomb. It was a chaos. It was disaster. And we see what the fruits of that today. Isaiah 3 verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. And those children are talking about you Edomites. And the women that rule over are the women of our nation, starting chiefly with the women of Judah, who once again, as Eve did, bit that apple of the serpent, those philosophies that you could be a boss bitch, you could be the head of the house, you don't need no man. But what were the fruits of that? All these inner city hellhole, violent, impoverished slums that you see today, because there's no wisdom, there's no fatherly balance in these homes. And the scriptures speak on that, the men that are raised by single mothers. Job 14 at the top. Man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. He cometh forth like a flower and is cut down. He fleeth also as a shadow and continueth not. We see that in these cities, Chicago. He used the example of Chicago, Baltimore, and St. Louis. And as a truck driver, I've driven through Chicago. I've driven through St. Louis, not Baltimore, but I've been to Baltimore before. And all those are straight hellholes. But it didn't look like that until Esau Edom took the fathers out the home. And as well as you had white flight, where the Edomites, the so-called whites, would take all their resources and go to the suburbs, suburban areas, the areas outside of the city, and would leave Judah in specific, stranded in the inner cities. And then he further stricken our people with taking the fathers out and replacing the fathers with gang culture, drugs, single mothers, and just the degenerate rap music. And what does that lead to? It leads to a lifestyle or a death style of death in jail and imprisonment, which he can further get free labor and continue the slavery of our people in these prison systems. Isaiah 42 verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore. And it goes into that in Isaiah the 10th chapter 1 through 2 as well, as woe to him that decree unrighteous decrees and shall rob the fatherless. That's what Esau Edom has done. He's created these fatherless homes and has robbed the shit out of us. And then 100 years later wants to act like we're the savage beast that can't keep our parts of the city clean and upright. But he set it up to be like that, and then wants to mock us. But really, he's just jealous of our excellency. Psalm 62 verse 4. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Salah. Let's get that again. Psalm 62 verse 4. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. Okay, and that's what he did by taking the fathers out of the homes. He knew what destruction that would lead to with no male guidance in our people's homes. But we can see the fruits of that today. Another one, Baruch 4. Let's get Baruch 4 verse 25. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from Yahweh. For thine enemy, the chief enemy being you so-called WHITES, you Idumeans, you Edomites, you red people. Let's go back to this clown on the screen. Okay. For thine enemy hath persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shall tread upon his neck. Okay, and we can go further to that, because going back to the beloved elder Gabar Yehoiada saying how he hates all the tribes, but he truly hates Judah, because Judah is a reminder of everything he's not. You know, Esau hates seeing Judite men go overseas and getting feminine traditional Eastern women, because that show he can't roll like that. At the end of the day, you take money away from this clown and he's nothing. He's revealed as the basis of all men, and he don't even do it right sitting on a throne. He's still a weirdo. He's still a loser. Genesis 49 verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He coucheth as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? And the so-called blacks are represented by a lion, and we're in this zoo-like captivity, beaten down. But pretty soon, Judah's gonna be roused up, and what that's gonna do is what Esau fears. It's gonna rouse up the rest of the tribes too, and Esau knows that this is his end. Because he don't got no salt. He don't got really nothing to stand on but lies, his sword, and money. And all his money is tainted and corrupted. All his riches are cankered. So all he got to stand on is lies. But the truth, pursuant to Revelation 11:11, you know, is exposing this man for the devil-based man that he is. And he's trying his best to hide it. But he's being more exposed and showing his hatred by this clown you see on the screen. Let's close off on this. Revelation 13 verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. And the saints are the Israelites, but speaking on the 1/3 who came back in remembrance of the Heavenly Father's laws, statutes, and commandments, and by faith are doing the best to keep those laws, statutes, and commandments, and exalt the name of the Lord, his chosen name, his real name, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and exalt him in the face of our enemies who made no account for our labors. But this man, he's a clown. He's a joke. But I just want to piggyback on what big bro Malak Amwan went into. And Esau, through his spirit, knows that his time is coming. His end is coming. And he's going to be going back to Baruch, the 4th chapter. He's going to be brought down low. And we going to tread upon this leprous red clown's neck. I hope this was edifying. Shalom.